Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Chromosomatics Wellness Podcast. I want to thank you all for your comments and your response to the initial welcome message that I put on YouTube and on Facebook. I really appreciate that. Actually, I wasn't expecting that much attention to that, but like I said, the reason I'm doing this is because many of you have been pushing me to do this for years, and you all came out and said it was about time. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're still interested in it. Um, Today's topic is called Sexuality in the Shaman. I actually was going to do this first episode about me and how I got into this. I think I'm going to save that for later. The reason why I chose this is this has been a hot topic for me with my clients since I've been open, but in particular the past couple weeks. And what it is people are coming in and they feel like they're at a crossroads. You know, they have this 9 to 5, but they don't feel like that's their true life path. And a lot of them are already doing some type of healing work, whether it's Reiki or massage therapy on the side, because they're actually healing people and they realize this is really what they want to do for a living. Not the monotony of the 9 to 5. It's really not fulfilling to them anymore. So the first thing I usually do when they come in, I'll scan them with the biowell, and I'll do a whole episode on the biowell so you understand in depth in terms of what I'm doing and what's the purpose of that and how that actually complements the harmonic egg. So I'll scan all 10 of your fingers with the biowell, and what that shows me is all of your chakras. It shows me how much energy you have. It shows me how that energy is being distributed throughout the body. I can see your meridians, and we scan both left and right hands, so I can see the energy in both left and right meridians. And using a bit of Chinese medicine, that can tell me a lot about you. The thing that I notice right off the bat with people who say, they do healing work, they feel like they're healers, is that uh, the crown chakra is usually very large, a lot of energy in it, and very well aligned. The third eye chakra is usually very well aligned, a lot of energy in it. The crown chakra is responsible for pulling in energy from the field. It's like your spiritual antenna. The third eye chakra is like your spiritual brain. It actually processes that information that's being downloaded from the crown chakra. So you can look at your crown chakra like the Wi-Fi antenna on your computer or your laptop, right? And you can look at your third eye. It's like your CPU. It takes that information that's being downloaded from the internet and it actually displays it for you. It processes it for you. So when I see people like that, the first question I ask is, are you very psychic? Are you very intuitive? Do you have premonitions? And usually the answer is yes. But the next question I ask is, do you trust them? Do you believe them? And a lot of times it's no. And that's the dilemma. They have the ability, but they don't trust it. So the next chakra I look at is the sacral chakra, because that's where you hold your trust issues. That's where you hold your self appraisal issues. It's also where you hold your sexuality. And there's some connections between those. And I'll look at the sacral chakra, and most times the sacral chakra is either very misaligned or very small or both. So now I start asking questions about their upbringing. Did they live in a very critical household? Because criticism affects your self appraisal. And so when you have these gifts, you won't trust them because it affects your trust, because it affects your self appraisal. You've always been told that you're not good enough. So you're not going to trust anything that you may hear or that you may even see or feel based on what you're picking up from the field. And there are a few things that can actually be the source of that misalignment. It could be mother issues. You hold your mother issues in your sacral chakra. Again, it could be criticism, but it could also be sexual abuse. And for some reason, with my healers, it's usually some form of sexual abuse. And here's my theory on this. Just for so many people I've talked to who've had this, it's like your healing energy can be misinterpreted by some as sexual energy. And some predators will think it's targeted sexual energy, which means they think it's for them. And so I'll ask, especially some of my female clients, I'll say, when you were a little girl, did like grown men tend to have an interest in you where they had no business even saying anything to you or talking to you in a certain way? And their eyes would just pop open. They're like, yes. And it's like, they're just these little innocent little girls walking around. They don't know the energy that they have. It's healing energy, but it's being misinterpreted as sexual energy. And these people think it's for them, because they have this predator nature. Now, I'll ask questions like, when you were growing up, in your teenage, early adulthood, did men or guys always come up to you, and say things like, I saw you looking at me, like, you like me, and things like that? And I can't tell you how many people would say yes to this. They even had bosses when they worked at McDonald's and things like this when they were young who would corner them and say, I know you like me. I saw the way you look at me, and they have this predator energy, and they're mistaking this healing energy for sexual energy because it can actually come off that way. So there are no protections for this in the society that we live in right now. In Africa, they would have a shaman. When a baby was born, the shaman would come and examine the child. And they could pick up on the fact that this child had healing energy, and they would whisk that child away. That child will live a totally separate life, because they know they cannot put this child out there in the community at large, because the predators would eat them alive. The thing is, that energy is for the community, but the community, not one person. So that child born with those abilities, they're the ones who are going to talk to the plants and tell you what to eat, what not to eat, which plant is medicinal, which plant is good for what ailment. They can pick up that information directly from the plant or the tree. They can read the energy of the land. If you're a nomadic tribe and you move to another place, these shamans, these peoples with these abilities in the community, will know if that land has bad energy and tell you to move 100 yards the other way. So that gift is for the community, but they have to be protected. There are no protections for this in the society. It's just not. So a lot of these people come into this world and get tossed into the community, and they have all kinds of sexual abuse up into their adulthood. And the other thing about them is they carry a lot of energy. So typically in the Bible, your energy should be in a range of 40 to 40 to 60 joules. Now, I have larger clients, and 6'6" guys, 6'8" guys who come in. They're naturally 59, 60 joules. They're just bigger people, bigger hearts. They generate more energy. But I have women that come in that are like 4'11", 5'2", and they carry the same amount of energy as these 6'8" guys, 6'6" guys, naturally. So what I notice, a lot of people who have these gifts also have energy to donate. They literally have way more energy than they need for someone their size. So they have energy to donate. That's another common denominator that I've seen with these people who come in who are natural healers. So what I notice is that these shamans or these healers have this sexual abuse plight where their energy was misinterpreted for most of their lives. So we have a protocol for the harmonic egg that specifically deals with sexual trauma. And we focus on that sacral chakra. A lot of people have a hard time doing it. It's a 6-week protocol, but it focuses on the sacral chakra. So we have to keep the sacral chakra pristine, which means no caffeine and no processed sugar. So that's why people have a hard time finishing that protocol, because so many people drink coffee. And some can do it. Some actually switch to like a mushroom type coffee or dandelion root coffee alternatives, and that helps them get through the 6 weeks. But the key is to heal the sacral chakra because that's where the block is. That's where the trust is. So once we heal the sacral chakra, now the person is now trusting their abilities. They're trusting that healthy crown chakra that they have, that healthy third eye chakra that they have. They no longer have this trust block. And a lot of times after that, we may have to work on the solar plexus because a lot of times when people have these self appraisal issues that are born out of criticism or sexual trauma, they tend to have a low self appraisal, which is also a part of the sacral chakra, which means they'll overdo or become like a people pleaser, and that affects the solar plexus. So they get into this space where they're trying to do everything for everybody to prove their value because of an issue, a low self appraisal issue that they have in the sacral chakra. So we'll end up having to work on the solar plexus as well to get that confidence up and actually start creating boundaries. But again, that still helps out the upper chakra so they can really, in a healthy way, step into this shamanism or this healer path that they're trying to get into. And that also, by working on the solar plexus, it also protects them from energy vampires. That's another thing, especially a lot of the women that I have who are married, that have ex-husbands who would come after all of that energy that they have. And usually that energy is tapped into sexually. They're literally energy vampires who want to steal all that extra energy that they have. And we've had conversations about that. And more than 4 people that I've consulted with have had that very issue and they knew it. They knew it. Some of them, their husbands passed already because these are older women a lot of times. And some of them, they realized it and they divorced them because you got to protect that energy. That's a healing energy. That's for the planet. So, if you're interested in doing a session at Chromosomatics Wellness, please, I have a link in the description. So please feel free to go there, click the link, and set up an appointment. Um, if any of this resonates with you, feel free to leave a comment. Um, a lot of people don't realize it until they hear someone talk about it in that way. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of my clients. They'll come in with issues, and then we end up on a sexual trauma protocol. And they realize that's what they needed to actually get out of this conflict that they're in, where they're not trusting their healing abilities that keep knocking on the door, but they don't trust it. So I'll see you all next week. Brand new topic. And maybe the 4th episode, I'll have my first guest. I think I already know who that will be, but we'll keep that under wraps until the 3rd episode. So I appreciate everyone who's tuned in, who stayed connected this long to the end of the episode. Like I always say, love yourself.